What's up, y'all? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 15, episode 8. So let's get into it. Okay, y'all. First off, it was too much Drew. It was too much Drew, and y'all know I do not see it for that lady and her husband. They just give stunt queens Tyler Perry productions. Like, nothing with them seems real. Like, I could see Drew and Ralph on Sisters. I could. I genuinely could. But we open up the episode and we see Ralph and Drew in the kitchen, and we find out that Drew's sister Allison is coming into town, and Allison and Ralph got beef. So Ralph banned Allison from the home because Allison clocked who Ralph was. She's told Drew that Ralph was manipulative, and he also was, like, a liar, and he was controlling. And Ralph didn't like that too much. I guess she also had done other things, because Ralph was like, she did a lot to come between him and Drew, so he banned her from their home. Like, she had not even been to the house that they're currently living in now. So Drew is excited to see her sister. We find out that her sister was basically her manager when she was younger, up into a certain point, and then her sister ended up having bouts with mental illness. One thing I didn't like about that scene is when they showed the flashback scene, her sister was going through, you can hear that girl going through it, and Drew and her child over there making pancakes, and it's on speaker, and the little girl kind of looking like, oh God, what's wrong with her? She in distress. And I'm like, Drew, if you don't pick up the phone and just make sure your sister, like, calm your sister down. And what it seemed like in that flashback, because she said something about everyone seems to be living their lives, and I'm like, she felt like she was getting left behind, and I've felt like that before, so I understand that being a very, like, isolating and lonely feeling. But she checked herself into, like, a treatment facility, and it seems like the sister is doing better. Ralph is like, I don't know what's gonna happen, because I don't know if I want her back in my house or what's gonna make me feel comfortable, but it is what it is. So we then see this scene of Candy and Sheree meeting up, and y'all, what it boils down to is Sheree feels some type of way about Candy speaking negatively about her business. And Sheree's whole thing is, like, if we were to speak negatively about any of Candy's businesses, she would have an issue. And like I said beforehand, my thing with Candy is starting to reach Dr. Heavenly territory, where you're constantly talking about the show, and even though you're not being, like, I don't, like, sometimes Candy can be very shady on Speak On It because of the clips that I've seen, and other times she can be very, like, just critical but giving a critique. And the issue is, like, the moment when you keep doing it over and over and over again, it becomes like, girl, you're talking trash about me. No longer is it like, oh, I'm just saying something cute and shady. It's like, it's compounded because we're on this show together, and then you get off the show, and while the show is premiering, you talking trash. Again, it's not like a cute little tweet here or there. It's like you making 45-minute and 50-minute videos about me and how you don't rock with me. It gets to a point where you get, oh, like, you're tired of it. And with Candy's whole thing is like, Sheree, we tried to help you, but you didn't want to take the help. And they was going back and forth. Like, Sheree got Candy when she was like, well, have you bought anything? And Candy was like, well, I said, girl, have you? And then when Candy told Sheree, we're like, girl, we tried to help you. This is She by Shein, as well as Sheree being like, oh, well, I had a business. And Candy said, not no more. And Sheree's like, well, I closed that because I wanted to, not because I had to. But ultimately, Candy was like, why are we fighting? Because I don't want to fight with you. Candy's whole thing is like, when we were at the Gucci party, you didn't say anything about having beef or an issue with me. And Sheree was like, we've known each other long enough where I didn't want to have it out with you at the table. I wanted to have a sit down. But she was just like, Candy took accountability and said, I'm sorry. That I was wrong for doing that. And I mean, I guess they moved on for that situation, but Candy just did a Speak On It where everyone was saying she was airing Sheree out. So I guess the relationship is null and void now, So the next thing we see is Candy and Todd and this whole movie project. Girl, I know that's going straight to Tubi. But Todd is cheap because I don't understand why y'all trying to use Drew. Not to like bash Drew's skills, because I do think Drew is a decent actor. Like, she seems to be like somebody who really takes her craft seriously. I'll give her that, even though I don't see it for the lady. But I feel like they might try to lowball Drew. And I feel like Drew need to make sure that she get paid what she worth. Cause it's giving like y'all picking Drew because y'all don't want to really pay nobody like that. And then Candy talked about she didn't want to get typecasted as the person that turns the girls out. But you gleefully talk about doing things, girl. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you would love for that to be your banner. I feel like you really would. So then we get this scene of Allison arriving. She was supposed to arrive sooner, but unfortunately, I guess they had a late start to traveling to Drew's home. I don't know where they said she stayed, but she pulls up after production leaves. It's like 10:30, and Drew is very emotional. She talked about how like she never really had like a sisterly bond with her sister. She just had a working relationship with her. And Allison seems to be a little bit older than Drew. Maybe like she looked like she might be, well, if she was managing Drew when she was a kid, she has to be at least like a decade or maybe 2 decades older than her. But her mama don't look that old. But it was a very emotional like scene. Like, it felt real. Like I said before, Drew and Ralph give me stunt queens. Like, nothing about them reigns like genuine to me. That's why I don't get why people be going up for them, because everything about them feels fake. It just feels fake to me. But this right here looked like it was real. Like, the mom was crying, Drew was crying. She was so excited to see Allison, but she was upset because Ralph went to bed and she wanted Ralph to stay up and wait to have a conversation with Allison. But I feel like you can't force somebody to have a conversation. As much as I don't see it for Ralph's peanut head, if I'm not comfortable with someone, like, you should be lucky that I let them in the house. Like, give me time to speak to them. But it was a nice moment. So on to the low budget Blow music video. First of all, it wasn't even that bad. And y'all know I don't like Drew. I actually went and watched the music video and I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. It definitely gave this is my first music video, but it didn't look low budget. There was definitely a budget. Like, she had so many, like, she had a decent amount of like transition scenes, because it opens up with her bang wig singing, then it transitions to her dancing. Although I will say Drew needs to work on loosening up. She was very stiff compared to her backup dancers, and I didn't like that outfit. That black outfit was ugly on her. And then you got her scenes with Ralph as her love interest. Should have got a different love interest. That whole kissing and wasn't doing it for me. And then the roller skating scenes, it was like, okay, like there was definitely a budget there with the different transitions. So you have because in the music video she had Yandy, I think I saw Contessa, we had Kenya, Courtney, Sonya, and Mayetta. So we didn't see Sheree or Candy in the music video. And so they get there. Kenya calls it a low budget Blow video, and Beyonce's Blow is one of my favorite music videos in my list of music videos. But I was like, it was never gonna give that because she don't got Blow money or Beyonce money. Then Mayetta was like, it was cute, I take my kids skating here, and I was like, Mayetta, who are you? We didn't even know you did choreography. The only thing we knew about you was that you was Neo's baby mama, who supposedly allegedly he got you to burn your tubes for him. Like, other than that, we don't know who you are. So for her to be shading, and I'm like, girl, you should be lucky that they invited you to the event. Because you have not been missed on my end. So I was just like, okay, Mayetta. So I was with Sonya, though, when she told Drew, like, girl, you should have stuck to walking. Like, you ruptured 2 Achilles. Girl, yeah, Drew, what you doing? But the music video wasn't that bad. And when I was watching the music video, I realized, had this song came out in, like, the early 2000s, like 2004 to like 2007, I think this would have been like a major hit for Drew, because the music video gave very much like LaToya Luckett, Keisha Cole, Fantasia types of vibes. Like it gave me that kind of R&B. So I really feel like had she done that, it probably like had she had this song come out during that time, it would have been a hit. But we end up seeing like a nice scene between Ralph and Allison, where Allison gets emotional because she says, I had a dream about this before she ruptured her Achilles when they were in Jamaica, I guess. And she was like, I told her to do the skating ring. And she was like, I'm just so happy that she's going for everything that she wants. And Ralph is like, it's wonderful to see Allison support Drew, and they hug and everyone gets emotional, and it was kind of nice. Like, y'all know I don't like Ralph. I don't know if he was being genuine in this scene, because you can't like Drew, I can't tell, but hopefully he was, because it seemed like Allison was being genuine. But it does seem like Allison genuinely wants to have a relationship with Drew the same way Drew wants to have a relationship with her. Like, no longer it being business related, but more so more so sister. Like, she wants to get back to them being sisters, because sister bonds are very important, especially when they're healthy. So that was a nice scene. So then the last scene we have is Marlo going on a date. We see a scene of Marlo and Sonya talking and, letting her know about the date. Sonya talks about how, like, she knows a different Marlo than everybody else. And the truth of the matter is, yes, Sonya knows a different Marlo because Marlo is different with her, but she has not known Marlo long enough to not take into consideration what the other ladies thinks of Marlo. Like, Kenya and Candy have known Marlo for several years compared to Sonya. So it's like, yes, you can still be cool with Marlo, but you always keep your wits about you. And granted, Marlo hasn't done anything to Sonya, but that don't mean she won't do anything to her, or she won't cross that line the same way she crossed it with everybody else. So we then see her go on the date with the guy. They made a cute couple. I really wasn't paying attention. The only thing I was listening to is that he been to jail like Marlo, and he got 2 kids. One that is 2 and the other one that's 1. And I was like, girl. So when she leaves, I guess Marlo calls Drew. And I can't remember it because I didn't take notes if she called Drew before she got to the thing. No, I think she called Drew after the date. And she just went off on Drew. Like, I think Marlo called Drew to, like, gossip about her date. And then Drew pretty much asked Marlo, like, why you been treating me the way you've been treating me? And Marlo lost it, like, hung up on her, and then went on a, like, rant about her body and how Ralph don't want her. It was just, it came like, I was like, Marlo, what are you so angry about with her? That she's checking you? Because she does need an apology. She does need you to acknowledge how you did her. So it was out of pocket. It was out of pocket. That little rant was out of pocket. And that's how the episode pretty much like ended there with like Marlo's date and all that stuff. So I think we have a break. They're not coming back until July the 9th, which I think is needed. Because there wasn't much to this episode, in my opinion. But, this is where we at and this is what we got. So let's keep moving forward. But yeah, y'all, remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in the comments below if you like what you heard. And also subscribe. And I'm out, y'all.